Hey guys, so I wanted to break down one of the coolest montage videos I've ever seen, and I will put a link in the description down below, and I highly recommend you guys all check it out after this video because they got some cool music. It works really well with the music. So this guy is a Zeratul one trick, and he has a 61% win rate with Zeratul. Got up to Masters in the Korean servers around before the whole HGC dropout thing. So he was playing against pros a lot of the time, and in some of these games he is playing against pros where he just absolutely destroys players by hopping around. Now the reason I want to break down his montage anyways is because he has one of the flashiest Zeratul plays I've ever seen, and he does it so efficiently. Maybe not efficiently, but he does it so well and so I guess, consistently. I'll show you guys a more efficient way of doing it, but he does it so consistently that it just looks so cool. So a lot of the ways that people see him play Zeratul makes it seem like you have a teleport on a 0 cooldown because he's constantly teleporting around fights over and over and over. If you saw right there, he teleported about 7 or 8 times at the start of the fight or throughout that fight, killed 1 or 2 people, jumped out of the fight, was still able to get out alive. And again, almost every time that he's teleporting in, he's getting 2 kills. So I want to show you guys how he's doing this. I'm going to show you guys his build, and then I'm going to show you guys a more efficient and much easier way of doing this combo while still impressing your friends. And I'll show you guys how to do his full combo if you guys just really like this flashy style of Zeratul. And I want to give props to this guy. Seriously, one of the best mechanical Zeratul players that I've seen. To be able to consistently do some of these crazy combos is absolutely insane. But I do want to break down this into a couple different pieces. So let's start off with this initial infamous engage that a lot of people talk about when they talk about some of the craziest Zeratul plays, is this first engage. Let me zoom in a little bit, and I will show you guys how it's played out one piece at a time. So this starts off with a W, and let me get all the names of the abilities. So he's got Cleave, Singularity, Blink, and then his Might of the Nerazim, which resets your abilities. So let's talk about that. So he's going to be starting off with a Singularity, and he does have the level 7 talent Seeker. I'll go through only the important talents for now. So Seeker makes it to where you can teleport to whatever you hit with your Singularity Spike. He has Psionic Strength, so he does increased damage the more abilities that he lands and the more sets of damage that he does to the enemies. Might of the Nerazim, which resets one ability. Well, it makes it to where you recast one ability. Then you have Twilight Falls, which resets all of your abilities after you recasted one ability. This also makes it to where your next basic attack after an ability does 30% more damage. And then you have the rest of this kit we'll see, and he does use Mending Strikes. So now that you know kind of the build, and we'll talk about the rest of the build after this, let's break down this thing. So he starts off with a Singularity Spike. After he lands a Singularity Spike, one of the things that not only makes him flashier, but also makes him a little bit less predictable, is he always walks away from the target that he's about to teleport to. This makes it a little bit more flashy because you're teleporting longer distances, but it also makes you more unpredictable because people don't know if you're walking away from a fight or if you're going to be committing by jumping in afterwards. So he throws out a Singularity Spike. He takes a step backward, and then he's going to jump to the target, and he's immediately does an auto attack, a Q, and then he jumps away with a Blink. But because he landed the auto attack, he's going to be able to Vorpal Strike. You can see the purple set of damage, the orange set of damage, and a green set of damage because he healed based off of the auto attack damage that he did. Then he jumps away using Blink, and then he's going to jump back in using Vorpal Strikes, and then he's going to immediately teleport away using Might of the Nerazim, then following up, because he knows the direction he's teleporting in and the direction that the Hanzo is trying to run in, he's going to use a Singularity Spike on him, teleport back in, and finish him off with a Cleave. He's at max Psionic Strength at this point, so his auto attack is doing 570 damage. His Cleave is doing 750 damage, and then he is able to jump away. And that is essentially the flashy version of his combo. Now, this right here is the more efficient version of the combo if you want to just 100 to 0 a Hanzo without giving him any time to run away. He uses his Singularity Strike to go in. So he teleports and then singularity strikes in this case. And the reason why this is really efficient is because you can jump really, really long distances into their backline and just do this, where you do a cleave, then you do a Might of the Nerazim, which then recleaves on the same set, and then you can do another cleave on that same one. You reset your cooldown so you can use either Vorpal, Blink, or Singularity Strike to jump back into the fight. In this case, he uses a Blink, and then he does an auto attack, and then he does a Singularity, and he ends up taking out both of the people. 100 to 0 on the Hanzo, and then also 40% of the health of a Chromie. Right here, this is before level 10, or before even level 10, so he doesn't have anything crazy, but he does jump out after an auto attack, uses Vorpal to get back in, and then he uses his marked or his Singularity to walk away and then teleport back in and finish off that person. This fight right here is the one where a lot of people get confused at what he's doing in this fight, because it seems like he does like 10 blinks in a really short period of time. But again, I'll break down this fight, and then after this fight, I'll show you how to do a lot of these combos. So this fight, he starts off with a marked or a Singularity onto the Li Ming. He then jumps in and uses a Q on everyone. And he's going to hit everyone with a huge chunk of damage. You can see the Q hits, 3 different people. And his W is critting on the one person that he actually jumped on. And then he's doing an auto attack on that person. And then he's going to blink out. After he blinks out, he still had an auto attack onto one person up here. It might have been this person actually, but I believe it was Li Ming. Where he's then going to Vorpal Blade onto the Li Ming. He doesn't actually get anything more than an auto attack on her, which heals him for 170 after the Vorpal Blade lands. He's going to throw out a Singularity Strike. He's going to walk away. Like I said, he likes to walk away whenever he's about to teleport on a target. He jumps back in with the Singularity Strike and a Cleave. He still has one teleport left. He teleports down and then immediately hits the Hanzo and one more auto attack on the Hanzo, and then he's out. And so that's the breakdown of the majority of the fights that we are going to be looking at. He does a kill on a couple low health targets by auto attacking using Vorpal, then teleporting with Blink and using a Singularity Strike, which ends up missing. So let's talk about the full combo and the easier combos. So his full combo, the one that we see him use the most often, he loves the flashy teleports. He always starts off by walking in with a Singularity, teleporting in, teleporting out, using Vorpal back in, using Q. Sorry, I already did the combo wrong, guys. This is what happens when you don't play it as often as he does. So let's talk about cooldowns for a second, get that Vorpal Blade back off, and I'll do it a little bit slower too, just because it'll be easier for everyone to see. Maybe I'll do it fast once and then slow. So W in, W, Q auto, teleport out, Vorpal back in, teleport off to this side, W, W back in, Q, and then teleport out. That's his flashy combo for hopping around the fights multiple times. And again, if I was to do this slower, so that was 5,300 damage, just so you guys know, the flashy combo. Almost every melee and range assassin and healer has less than 4,000 health at level 20. So that 100 to 0 is just about everyone and even some bruisers. So that's pretty good. Won't 100 to 0 a tank, but it does 100 to 0 most people, because we have Arthas with 6,000 health, so it will not 100 to 0 Arthas. But so in a slower version of that combo, we are going to be using Singularity Strike, teleporting in, queuing, auto-attacking, teleporting out, using Vorpal to teleport back in, using the Might of the Nerazim to teleport out, reset all of the abilities, the W to get back in, Q, and then he uses E to get out of the fight. So 5,300 damage, and all of that happens within a short period, also jumping you out of the fight, and you're healing for a decent amount throughout that fight. So if I was to explain how much you're healing, you heal for about 150 every auto attack in between an ability. So that means W, 150, then Q, 150, teleport, 150, out, 150, teleport out of the fight. So you heal yourself for about 1,000 when you're doing that. And it's kind of a unique way to do a lot of damage, heal for about 1,000, feel like a bruiser that's hopping in their backline and just teleporting all over the place. So you can tend to kill one backliner every time. So if that's the way to really impress your friends, what's the way to make this more efficient if you want to play a competitive version of the Might of the Nerazim Zeratul? So firstly, why I say this is the more efficient method is this is going to gap close to the backline every single time, and this is going to do a ridiculous amount of damage in a short period of time, and it's super easy to do, so it's almost impossible to fail this if you land your singularity spike. So the way this works is you wait until someone's just at the edge of your vision range, right? And right as they start doing something, you're going to teleport in, W, W again, Q, R, Q, auto attack, teleport out, and you can do however else you want to do of this combo. But essentially the base version of this combo is 4,000 damage. It's 4,000 damage in a very short period of time. So once again, you get at the edge of the vision range, and you're going to immediately E, W, W, Q, R, Q, auto attack, and it's 4,000 damage right off the bat. It's as simple as you can possibly get, 4,000 damage, and you instantly kill someone. That's going to give your teleport for you to get out. You're still going to have Vorpal Blade available if you want to go for a second target. You're still going to have Singularity Strike available if you want to go for a second target. So essentially, on a second target, you're going to have the option of doing this, auto attack, Vorpal, and this. So an extra 1,700 damage. So if you jump in, blow up one target, and the amount of damage that you're doing to a secondary target. So let's say, for example, you wanted to kill 2 targets really quickly that are next to each other and they're at the edge of your vision range. You can then teleport, W, teleport to your W, R, Q, R, and then you could kill one target, teleport to the other, and then Vorpal and kill the other target if you wanted to. So you have the possibility of doing 8,000 damage split between 2 people, killing 2 targets. So this is one of the most efficient ways. So I talk about like his Void Prison combos a lot, where you can set up a Void Prison and get your team to wipe a bunch of people, but this is one of the few times where you can play a hero, and on a 20-second cooldown, you can 100 to 0 someone, and with the possibility of if they're next to another person, you can 100 to 0 2 different people at the same time. And it's super efficient just because of the speed of it. And the gap close. I mean, look at the distance that you can gap close. And if you're mounted, you can gap close even further. Because you could essentially, if they use an ability, you can gap close right up to the edge of vision range. And I, again, messed up. You need to make sure you get that Q off. But essentially, edge of, I mean, even if let's change the enemy hero to someone that you might see in the back line. Let's go, Ana tends to be really low health, but why not? Let's throw in an Ana. You want to find someone that's going to be at the edge of the fight, someone that you could kill, jump out of the fight, and not really lose out on anything. But this is the most efficient way of doing his combos. We've seen him do it once, and you're going to teleport, W, jump back in, Q, Q, and then you can jump wherever you want to and take him out. And it's so fast. It's seriously the fastest combo. Let me turn off toggle cooldowns just to show you guys that that's not the toggle cooldowns that did that. That's legitimately just this combo. And you jump into their backline, blow someone up, and you have your teleport to get back out. Don't forget that you also have Vorpal Blade. I used a teleport there, but you can just use Vorpal Blade. So again, you can go right into the fight, teleport, W, W, Q, R, Q, and then Vorpal Blade and finish them off. You still have a teleport and a singularity that are still available whenever you need them, in case there's a second target you want to just hop on to, take a Q, auto, whatever, and easily do 2,000 damage onto one target that might have been separate. So jump in, blow up their healer instantly, and you still have 2 resources to jump around the fight. So that's the capability that you have in this style of Zeratul. Super efficient, super safe, can immediately blow up a backliner. So what is the build? We've broken apart the video. We've talked about a more efficient way of blowing people up. Let's talk about the build now. So he goes with Greater Cleave, and I agree. So you're teleporting so often that you don't really need the lower cooldown on Shadowhunter. Move Unseen, you don't need the movement speed because you're teleporting around so often. So Greater Cleave not only makes it to where you have a higher chance of blowing up 2 targets as opposed to 1, but it also gives you a little bit of wave clear if you happen to be playing in the solo lane for your team. You can use your cleave, Greater Cleave, to clear up the lanes a little bit easier. Then at level 4, we need Psionic Strength. This is where all of that damage is coming in when you're doing all that burst damage. It's all from the Psionic Strength. You stack up to 30% increased damage and just blow people apart. Seeker in the Dark allows you to jump in, and it gives you 1 extra teleport that is very easy to always jump back in on the targets, allowing you to save your blinks to teleport out or teleport to different targets. So if you land this, it's full combo time. If you don't land this, you walk out safe and you don't have any issues. And that's really where Seeker of the Dark comes in. And Might of the Nerazim is where you're going to get that first reset, as well as you're going to be getting the increased auto attack damage. So very, very powerful, absolutely necessary for this build. Then Mending Strikes is something that he chose to go in this area. Because the more efficient method of this, you're not getting as many auto attacks. I would say Shroud might be better in some of those cases, but Mending Strikes does give you the option of healing outside of combat, because you can walk to a lane, auto attack, get your health back, and then mount up and head back to the fight. And in the more flashier version of the combo, you do gain like 1,000 health from this. Sentence for Death or Sentence to Death is an option. You can go with Void Slash if you find yourself jumping into a backline that has multiple people a lot of the time, because that 40% increased damage when you're doing 3 different Qs instantly is huge. You can do a lot more damage. But if you find yourself on single targets way more often, then Sentence to Death is going to be perfect, because remember that this whole combo relies on landing your W. So, landing your W, getting all that damage off, this allows you to blow up 1 person if you need to, and this is the talent that he picks in that game. And then Twilight Falls makes it to where your Might of the Nerazim resets the cooldown of all basic abilities. And this not only, you got to remember that Might of the Nerazim repeats 1 ability, and this makes it to where you reset 1 ability. So if you use Q, you can then do Cleave, R, which cleaves again, and then cleave again. So you're actually doing, if you do this correctly, you're doing 3 of 1 ability in a very short period of time. I mean, purely just that alone, with nothing else, is a stupid amount of damage. It's 1,500 damage without anything other than just a Q, an R, and a Q. So it's a really, I think that was 1 auto attack snuck in there. So it's really crazy how valuable this is. I mean, if you wanted to even just do, your W actually does more damage. If you wanted to do just, oh, that's kind of, it's kind of interesting actually. There you go. So if you just wanted to do that, 1,600 damage without the auto attack. But yeah, overall, it's Twilight Falls is absolutely incredible, and it's required for this build. So if you want to play Zeratul like Twilight plays him, that is the build, and that is the play style. You can teleport 5 times during a very short team fight, or you can do an efficient way of just instantly blowing up 1 target by doing a quick 4,000 damage. While he tends to go with a more flashier approach because people just have no idea what's going on, I do also want you guys to practice this is the more efficient version of that, where he jumped in, just did all of the Qs, blew up 1 person 100 to 0. So this guy, Twilight, he knows when he just has to do the more efficient version, but at the same time, I mean, look at these fights. These are absolutely insane. So much teleporting around. If you do want to go with the flashier teleporting around, while he does stay on locked during the replays, locked screen, I do recommend locking or unlocking your screen, so it's easier to land all of your abilities on 1 person. But it's all how you want to play it out, honestly. But yeah, I mean, look at that. It's just insane. That is crazy. Well, I'm going to let you guys watch this. I'm going to put the link in the description below for Twilight's Zeratul montage. Check it out. It's got some great music. He plays along with the music a little bit. The editing's really cool. And this is a seriously amazing Zeratul player. So check out his channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. And feel free to check out any of my other videos.